This video is going to be a very quick run through of how to make a platform game using Construct 2. It's just the basics of a platform game which can be extended, and it follows a tutorial which is the how to make a platform game tutorial that's on the Construct 2 website. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to create a new project, a new empty project, and the size we're going to use for this this project, the layout size is going to be a whopping 4000 by 2048. And if we hold down Control and scroll out with the mouse wheel, you can see that the window size is quite small. We've got this large area on the back there, so our platform game is going to be sort of scrolling all around there. Right, resources for this are actually on the mentioned on the website that we're going to be used. You can see there 4048, and the background we're going to use is a tiled background, which is actually in strips. Okay, so if you've got the purchased version, it's a download from the website, and it's a jungle platformer. Okay, so first thing we need to do is to add the tiled background. Double click to add, and then select tile background. Click anywhere. I think it gives us the blank sprite. We're going to open an image, and I've already downloaded all the necessary files. The background image, if you're working from the college VLE, the files are all in a zip file there. Extract them all using this background.png. You can see that it's quite a large image. Close that, and two things we could do. One is put that up to there and then drag that out. Another thing we can do is actually use the position and size on here. So position is going to be 0, 0. It's just going to position it perfectly in that top corner. Size is going to be 4000 by 2048. Okay, you can see there it's actually tiled this this background. Now we want to leave that alone on that layer, so I'm going to edit the layer and call it background, and then add another layer. In the background layer we're going to lock it, so now that's not something that we can touch. And this layer, just edit its name and call it main, and then we could have another layer on top called HUD, as we had in the other video. We'll just leave that as it is at the moment. Okay, right, the way that this has been put together is sort of quite clever, and it's something that I've not seen before used for static sprites, although it is used in a lot of different games as such, and it's using sprite sheets, known in as other things, sprite strips, animation strips. I've seen animation strips before, but this actually uses the pieces of platform are from a large tiled sheet. Okay, so we've got main selected. I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to add a sprite. Click anywhere on there, and you can see on here we've got this sprite window, we've got animation frames, and we've got a list of the animations that are included here. And what we're going to do is, instead of opening and putting a file into there, we're going to right click in the animation frames window and say import sprite strip, and it's in the tiles folder, and you can see this tiles.png. It's got lots of things in there. Open it, and it says the layout, the number of horizontal cells and the number of vertical cells. Well, the strip itself, as you saw, had a lot of bits of images in there. It's basically a grid of 12 by 12. So a little bit of maths for you there. 144. So 144 little images all arranged in a grid, all in one PNG file. So we OK that, and then it just takes a little bit of time to work it out, and it actually dissects all the pieces, and you'll see as this comes in. As I say, I've seen this done for animation before, but not for use for pieces of platform. You can see there we've got 144 pieces of platform in there. Now we notice there frame 0 is just nothing, because that was there before, so we can get rid of that, delete that, and now obviously it'll go up to 143, but that's because we started at 0. Okay, so I'm just going to close that, and I'm going to zoom in so I can, here we go, and see this piece of platform. So this is just one frame out of the properties. Actually, I'm going to double click back on that again and select the animation, and I'm just going to have a look at these properties up here. Animation default properties. Now we don't want it to be an animation, we're just using the fact it's got different frames in there to use different pieces of the platform. So to stop it from animating, we need to turn the speed to 0. So speed is 0, it won't animate now. I can just close that again. So we're going to make a platform out of 3 pieces, and what we want it to do, you can see when we're moving this around, it moves very freely, but if we're going to get 3 pieces to stick together, we could do with it snapping to some sort of invisible grid. Well, there is one in Construct 2, so we can go into View, Snap to Grid. Just look on there, the grid width 32, height 32. I'm going to stick with this. You can use different numbers. The size of the image that we're using is 128 by 128, so it divides into 32. So this this one piece, you can see at the bottom here, properties, animations, initial frame 0. This is frame 0. Well, actually we want frame 1. Change that to 1, and you can see we've got the side piece of the platform. Now if I hold down Control and drag that, and you can see it's now snapping, and another piece. Now that's no good as a platform. It's okay at the top, but this piece needs to be sort of a bit more of a solid piece. So this doesn't need to be frame 1. This is frame 10. You can see there, and it's quite clever utilising it in this way. And this one is frame 13. And there we have it. There we've got a platform, all used from one sprite sheet. Right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the platform, and I'm going to add a behaviour, because it's a solid platform. Add edit behaviour, and we can see here attributes, and the one I'm going to use is solid. Make the object impassable so that other objects cannot move or fall through it. So add that. Okay, and there we have our platform, the first part of a platform, and I can actually hold down Control and I can duplicate that. So we've got 3 pieces of a platform. Now we just need a character to be able to jump around on it. Okay, using a similar kind of method then, so I'll double click in and I'm going to add a sprite, insert there, and this is going to be an animated character, so import Sprite Strip, go back up to Jungle Platformer, and we can see in here we've got a player folder. Now we're just going to use a few of these, but you can see there we've actually got a few different animations. We're going to start off at idle, open, and these files actually contain all the individual images plus the strip. So we'll open this. Now it can sort of guess, because there's only one vertical cell, it can guess how many horizontal or how many columns there is to this. So it's got 11. Just OK that, delete the original. We can see this this animation, and now this one I'm going to rename this idle. I'm starting off with a capital letter, and I'm going to use this all the time. Right, so we've done that, and so this is its just in its idle sense. Preview that. You can see it's actually just it's just sort of breathing. Okay, so we've got that one. I'm going to add another animation. I'm going to call this idle to run. Click on it and you can see this strip's gone bare again. Right click, import strip, go back onto the player again, idle to run, open that one. Okay, we'll get the first one, and I'm going to add another animation which is going to be run. Import Sprite Strip. So we've got run, jump from run, and jump from stand. So run. This one's at the bottom. Get rid of that one. And what else did we have? Jump from run, and jump from stand. Now the naming's quite important because we're going to be referencing these at some point. So jump from run, and we need to import the strip player. Jump from run, open that. The first one, and jump from stand, put the strip, and jump from stand. We have that in there. Get rid of the first one. So we've now got all the animations that we require for the player. Starting off with the idle one, and so that would be okay, and we could give that the control behavior, and we could be able to move this image around. But what we need to do is first and foremost is, you can see we've got space around this this character, so he's not actually sat down there. Now we could move him down while he's snapping to this grid. We can turn that off now. But ideally what we want is not to be wasting this space. We need to crop the images down. Now we could have done that to start off with in the first place when we were creating the images. These are images that we've just been given, so we can actually looking at this image, and you can see there we've got to crop transparent edges, hold shift to crop entire animation. So if I hold shift down and crop, can you see there it's actually cropped it right down. And while I'm in here, another thing I'm going to do is just go into the origin and right click and say quick assign bottom. and what it's done is it's given it the origin of this player image right down to the bottom there. So it's that's its reference point. That'll be its XY position. Okay, but then we need to apply that to the whole animation. Okay, idle to run, shift crop, quick assign, bottom, apply to the whole animation. We can't apply to all animations because they're not all cropped, and you can't assign it until it's cropped. In case you were wondering if we could do that a bit quicker, shift crop. Actually, so that's on run. Let's have a look. Jump from run, jump from stand, okay, quick assign, bottom, apply to all animations and all frames. So let's just have a look there. I'll jump from run, yes, and run, idle to run. So that's done all those. Great, bit of a time saver. Okay, so so we're back in here, idle, and we can now place that on there. And this this character, which is actually called Sprite 2, we'll start naming these. We'll call this player, and this bit, platform. Okay, so the player will add a behavior, and the behavior is going to be movement of a platform. Add. Okay, that's a platform behavior. That's a solid behavior. Or another one that we need to add on there as well, add edit behaviors, is because we've got this huge screen and we need to keep the player in the middle of the screen, is scroll to, which we used on the other game. Right, let's just test this one out. And there we have it. So you can see the players able to jump and to move, and you can see there, but he's not animating at all, and we need to use code or the events to be able to do that. So going back on here, right, the animation of the player, you saw there, he sort of breathes once and that's it. So we go into there, into the idle animation. You can see there, speed of it's 5. We could change that to make him breathe faster. 9. Loop, yes. Okay. And what that's going to do is, if we test that again, you can see the player actually continues to breathe. Okay, right, so the next thing is that we need to tell it that when it moves, it's going to change its animation. So go into the event sheet and add the event at the player, and we're not going to do that. First thing we're going to do is actually we need to add a new object into the game, and the object is going to be a keyboard. Insert that. Now we've got the keyboard in there, we can add a keyboard event. So keyboard, and when the key has been pressed, the key to choose, and it actually says make sure that you now press the key. So if we press the right arrow, actually we're going to use the left arrow, So the left arrow. When we press the left arrow, so keyboard on left arrow pressed, what's the action we're going to do? We're going to player. Well, first thing is we're going to mirror the player. When the left arrow is pressed, we're going to set the player to mirrored. Just to sort of show you, when we press that left arrow, it mirrored. When we press the right arrow, we need to set it to not be mirrored. So that's the next thing. So add event, keyboard. Key pressed. Right arrow. Action. The player is. We're still saying set mirrored, but we're actually saying the state is going to be not mirrored. Okay, so we've got that, the left and right. Okay, next thing we need to do is that when we are actually moving left, that we are actually changing it to the state to start to run and then to run. So in player, keyboard, the player, and we've got platform, on moved, so the animation trigger. So player, platform on moved. We're going to play animation, set animation, and the one's going to be idle to run from the beginning. Set the animation to idle and run, idle to run, play from beginning, and then when that's done, we're going to set the animation. The animation is going to be run, and as I say, it's important to remember what you've called these from the beginning. So run, play from the beginning. Right, okay, let's just test this. Oops. So that's set it to run. Now the only thing is that we need to then set it back to idle when it's not moving. So let's go back into the game again. Okay, so just looking at this, let's get rid of this time. So just looking at this, the player platform on moved, it sets the animation to idle to run, plays it, but then it also sets it to run. What we need to do is actually set it to play for that, and when that's finished, then we need to get it to run. So I'm going to add event, the player. So player animations on finished. The animation that's finished is going to be idle to run. Play on animation idle to run finished, and we need to set the animation to run, play from the beginning. Okay. Adding another event, the player, and the platform. Stopped. When it stopped moving on the platform, we need to run the idle one again. Set the animation idle. Done. So this is all the movement apart from the jump. So add the event and player. And then we're looking for platform movement on jump, and the add action, player, set animation. And animation is going to be the jump. So the one we're going to be using is jump from stand. Okay. Now the problem with this is that when the player jumps on the platform, the animation is jump from stand, but how he wants to be when he's actually not moving. If he's moving on the platform as well, then he needs to jump from run. So we need to add another couple of conditions into there. So what I'm going to do is just where this arrow is at the side, I'm going to right click and add. Let me see, add a sub event. And the sub event is going to be player is moving on the platform. Right, if the player is moving, and then we add another one, add another sub event, player is moving. Same again, but we actually want it to be is not moving. So what we're going to do is right click on there and use the invert. So invert, so player platform is moving, player platform is not moving. If you're not moving, then that's the jump from stand. If it's moving, it's player set animation, and it's jump from run. Okay. Now, one of the things that we need to do is just to go in, just check that these all these other animations actually loop. So the run animation does loop. Jump from run loops, jump from stand loops as well. Okay, right, so with all those sorted, just look at this event sheet again, because it's quite a challenging one. So when we're pressing the left and right keys, it's toggling between the mirrored and not mirrored for the player. When we move it on the platform, it sets an animation going idle to run, which is from its standing position gets ready to run, and then once that's finished, it does the run. So that's a short animation. Actually, idle to run doesn't need to loop, does it? Let's just make sure. Yeah, that one doesn't actually need to loop. It just plays it through once. Okay, it's back on the event sheet, and always good to check. Then when it stops, it sets it back to idle. When it's jumping, if it's moving while it's jumping, it jumps from run. If it's not moving, it jumps from stand. Let's just double check and have a look at all of these. There we go. Yeah, it's a bit slow, as you can see. It's a bit slow to get into that. So we could really do with changing the speed. What we do to change the speed, go on to the layout, and the idle to run is quite slow. We could speed that up, maybe put that to 15. Right, again. Make sure we close the animation as it tells me. Thank you. Okay, it gets into the idea of running. Let's see about the jump. Yep, jump. And we see there again, some animations need speeding up. But we've got the basic idea of it. Needs a few tweaks, and it can't actually jump up to these platforms. So again, as we did in the other video, you can change some of the settings like gravity and the speed of the jump in order to allow them. You want to go on to the how to make a platform game and carry on following this. This is the first part. This is getting the character set up, and then I'll make another video which is going to be more to do with the actual enemy, which is actually in this case is a snail. Okay, so we'll see you in the next video.